This podcast deals with topics and triggering subject matter not suitable for children and is intended for adults. Listener discretion is advised. Dr. Kennedy, A Century in Inferno, featuring Chris Stonecipher as Dr. Kennedy, Duke Walter as the Game Master. Created by Old Curtis and Invisible Duke. Produced by TTRPG Theater Media.
Tell me, Ernest, how are you able to ride out the pain of this and keep going?
Perhaps it's the shock of it all. The fact that this person, creature, monstrous denizen of what is quickly becoming more and more unpleasant locale, I just need to find some relative safe haven to rest, find clothing. That's a singular goal that I've set for myself.
Or are you going to keep running in hopes of getting away from this ever-growing crowd, this sea of life or death?
Until I can find some form of shelter, I can't see any other way forward.
You keep running, but you are caught up in the crowd again. There are so many of them now. You cannot move fast enough to get out of this crowd. Your legs are burnt, third-degree burns. You're moving slower than even you were before. You're able to keep moving, and you are doing what you can to push your way through this crowd, but there are just too many of them. You aren't completely knocked to the ground, but just the sheer collisions of bodies on bodies, you can see others around you that are getting trampled in the fray. You are barely keeping on your feet as this crowd continues. That thought for you of all I need is shelter, all I need is a way, and there just seems no way for you to have any of that. Fear grows for you, Ernie.
Whenever I find myself in a life-threatening situation, I can roll soul to see if I can discover a way out. I would like to roll genius. I realize how to save myself by sacrificing someone else.
There is a very large person. They have a very worn leather strap across their chest. There's a series of knives that have been stabbed down their back, like almost as if it's to frame their spine. You grab hold of one of those knives and put your hand on that leather strap and are able to climb up that person's back to see to the top of the crowd and over the crowd at this point. It gets you a moment of safety. You have made your way up this ladder of knives. This creature doesn't seem to even notice. You can see out and around you, it's now thousands and thousands of beings, creatures, things. Off in the distance, there it is again. That tower. It seems much further away this time than when you saw it originally. And you are now moving in the opposite direction from it. What do you do?
How long have I been at this point?
45 minutes, maybe?
Getting a better look at the crowd from a little bit higher behind me. There's no end to it, is there?
Not that you can see. It ends in the darkness in every direction from you.
To me, it doesn't seem as though this is going to stop anytime soon. The crowd, much less this individual. If this is perhaps a form of torture for these beings or something, perhaps it's their lot in whatever their existence is to simply run as part of this horrifying crowd for eternity. If that's the case, I want to be nowhere near this. If steering this thing that I'm riding is a possibility, I want to figure out a way to do that. Steer it out of the crowd, if there is an out of the crowd.
Observe a situation. Which question would you like to ask, Ernie?
What is my best way through this?
Your best way through this, as you reason this out, You figure your best option is to try to go along with the crowd. You don't think that you could possibly work against it or through it at this point, even though you don't know where you will end up. At least if you're going in the same direction, you have a better chance of surviving. And you have this thought as you are searching around for options. And this six-legged, you can't even call it. So it has a flattened face and a large circular mouth. There are tendrils that come out of the mouth, and this thing is probably 18 feet high, standing on all six legs. And you had seen it off in the distance moving through the crowd. You're not sure if it's hair or what, that kind of hangs down from the front of its body, this circular mouth extending out from it and the tendrils. And you see the tendrils start to move very, very quickly, and it turns through the crowd and starts making its way toward you quickly, crushing as it moves, decimating dozens and dozens of these creatures. You can hear the breaking of bones. You can hear the spilling of organs and the sound of crushed flesh. Well, I don't know. What is that sound to you? Is it fascinating? Is it pleasing? Is it?
Well, it's certainly not pleasing, but it is familiar.
Yes, your perch atop this thing has somehow drawn the attention of this other creature. It is barreling in your direction. What do you do?
I would probably climb down, drop down off of the back of this knife ladder and start moving with the crowd as quickly as I can, and hope that the six-legged creature is more focused on knife ladder gentlemen.
You drop to the ground. You make it there. You are attempting to move through the crowd, but your legs are still burned. You're not physically moving as quick as your mind is, and you begin to be trampled. You fall to your knees, and no one is stopping to pick you up, and you are not able to get back up. You roll up in a ball and await an opening to get back up, and you attempt to get back up into move with the crowd. As you get up on your feet and you start moving forward in this situation, I want you to tell me, how do you stay on your feet and how do you keep your cool in the situation that you are in?
Honestly, ideally, I'd like to climb on top of this creature and use it as a horse, but I doubt that I have the skill or ability to make that happen. So I'm going to keep on keeping on.
So you're just going to continue moving with the crowd?
Yeah, I just have to hope that it loses me in the crowd.
To keep up with the crowd, under the pain that you are in and the harm that has been caused to you and the mental pressure that, all of those things, the strain of all of this weakens you to the point where you cannot maintain the pace any longer. You have been running for, you don't even know, time is lost on you at this point. Usually you're very good about that sort of thing. You're very precise in that you can typically pick up on how long you have been doing something, but here it's not the same. It's the pain and the desire to get to safety, that base need. Endure injury, please, as you lose the strength to keep up with the crowd anymore, and they begin to stomp on you. A 6.
I suppose that if I'm knocked out and stomped to death, the shock, the pain, the exhaustion, being knocked out makes the most sense.
Hundreds of feet begin to thoughtlessly and effortlessly pound down on every square inch of your body. It takes a minute and a half of this pain, this stomping, hundreds and hundreds of feet beating you into the ground. There is no malice in it. It is just happening. And everything goes to black for you, Dr. Kennedy.
I'm a selfish kind of person with a soul trying
God, it's like working retail.